Jim, what kind of geese are those?
They're Canada geese.
They are Canada geese. And how old would most of those be?
Well, some of them are the young ones of this year, just coming on with their plumage, and you got the adults, and they're babysitting probably multiple broods. You can see the bigger ones versus the smaller ones physically. A month ago, they were all little fuzzy little fur balls.
And then how old will most of the Canadian geese live?
Oh, they can live up to 10 years.
Okay. And do they mate with just one, or do they?
They mate for life.
Okay, and so
Right.
what happens if one dies?
Well, then they have to find another mate. They'll
Okay.
reestablish a pair from the younger generation coming on.
Okay, and then how far generally is their migration?
Well, it depends on the subpopulation. Some, like the giant Canada geese, are actually resident. They won't migrate at all, and that's probably what we have here. Then you have groups, other subpopulations of Canada geese that migrate thousands of miles from the Arctic. One population that's real common in Oregon is called the dusky Canada goose. It breeds only in the Copper River Delta, and it winters only in the Willamette Valley. And so you have lots of different varieties of Canada geese that have very specific migration routes, along with populations that are resident.
And in the last few years, has the population been healthy? Is it stable?
Yes.
Okay.
We've got as many geese in the North American continent as we think we ever had in history.
Okay, and is that also due to some of the restrictions of hunting?
Well, it's mostly due to the fact that geese get along real well with agriculture. So there's just a huge food supply, particularly on the winter range, that historically probably didn't exist.
Okay.
And since they nest in the Arctic, the breeding habitat's pretty well protected. There's actually more food in the wintering area, so that we have this huge abundance of geese in North America, coupled with duck populations that are generally down, so quite a contrast between the two.
Okay, and then here on the Descuttes River, what would be their predator?
Probably coyotes.
Okay. And then,
And for the young ones, maybe hawks.
okay.
Raccoons get them.
Raccoons.
Young and
Well,
get into the
particularly
nest.
in the nests.
And there's a lot of skunks on the
Yeah,
river here too.
yeah, nest predation,
Yeah.
everything eats them, but once you get, say, a goose this size, probably only coyotes are capable of killing them, or cougars, something like
Okay. And then how many eggs would they lay, and how?
that. Half a dozen or so
Okay.
per nest.
And how
And
many of those?
sometimes if a nest is destroyed, they'll re-nest, so you can get like double clutches and things like that.
Okay. And then how many of those would live to adulthood?
Well, in general, for a population to be stable, only 2 will survive to replace the parents.
Okay.
So there's a tremendous amount of predation associated with them. Otherwise, we'd just be overflown
Okay.
with geese.
Okay. Great. Thanks.